Hello, everybody. This is Eddie Taylor at the United Way. We're here at the United Way Podcast Center. We're going to queue up another session with Jordan Larson from the Active Healing Center here in Santa Maria Valley. We're going to take a little bit of a different track this time. Might get a little bit personal. Not with you guys, with me, because we're going to talk about my story and my path and what might have been different had I known then what I know now. So, Jordan, give us a little intro again, please, just in case they forgot who you are since the last session.
Sure. Well, my name's Jordan Larson. I'm a physical therapist, and our business is Active Healing Center here in Orchid, Santa Maria area. And so we help people who need to have some form of body problem solved. And we do that in a peaceful, private, specialized manner. And we're here to have that healing, welcoming environment be at the forefront of that, as well as with only seeing a licensed professional for every single session, as well as some other holistic options that we talked about in the last episode.
Thanks, Jordan, and it's good to see you again. And speaking of keeping everybody involved, we are also joined by Jacob Martin. Jacob is our technical assistant today. He keeps us on track. He keeps everything working. Are we good to go? Okay. He won't speak. He'll only give us a thumbs up. But hey, he's a great guy. You'll get to meet him sometime when you come by the United Way shop. Today we're going to jump into building trust and self-advocacy. And we talked about this briefly off the air with Jordan and what it was like when I recognized that I needed surgery. I needed surgery on my knee. Mm-hmm. I'd already had one surgery for meniscus, and the knee didn't get better. It got worse over time. But because I think, Jordan, you used the term athlete brain. Yeah,
athlete brain.
The guy who thinks he's an athlete. Is that what I am?
It's not even that. Anybody can have athlete brain. It's the part of our body that wants to go pull those weeds even though our back is telling us no. It's a part of our body that says, well, my foot's hurting. Well, I'll just walk more and I'm sure it'll go away, even though it's swollen every time that you've ever tried that before. It's that little voice that says, go, 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 when probably there's another alternative that would be more healing for you.
So for a guy like me who had knee surgery and it still was painful a couple of years later, but I'm active. I like to climb rocks. That's right. You can say, shake your head, there's something wrong with that guy. That's okay. I don't mind. There's a few of us out there that like to climb rocks. But I got through by putting a brace on my knee. Yeah. And I kept climbing. Yeah. And I kept doing more damage. To fast forward, when I finally got into your shop, into active healing in your physical therapy business, and I got with somebody who knew what they were doing, they pointed out to me that I had done some not irreparable harm, but I had done some serious harm because my muscles had atrophied at that point.
Yeah.
And perhaps I'll share with you off air a picture of what happened, that final step before I said, oh no, now I'm done. What could I have done differently?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's so many different pathways to healing. And you mentioned irreparable, and I think that's a great word because more things are reversible than we think they are. And not knowing that or believing what Google told us about how permanent what we think we have is, or even sometimes well-meaning doctors telling us, oh, well, it's just because you're getting older, that's permanent. Oh, it's just because you have arthritis, that's permanent. We have a misconception that there is nothing that can be done, and it feels hopeless when it feels irreparable. And so you were just doing the best that you could at that point, and you were doing exercises and you were doing workouts and you were doing everything and you were probably searching and probably talking to your doctor about what you could do for your knee. And ultimately it required a surgery, which is thank gosh we have those surgeries. And another pathway that could have happened is, and this is for the people that are on the sidelines where they maybe they've even had treatment and it hasn't worked, or maybe they're sitting there just hoping that it can get better on its own, but getting someone to help them, getting a guide. It doesn't have to be me. My passion is about helping people. And I'm also passionate about how awesome physical therapy is as a profession. So I just want people to know that there are more things that are reversible than you think. At least talk to someone, a human, not just searching Google, and get some help.
So we focused, or I focused on my issue
Yeah.
as being a knee, but what I hear you saying is it could be anything. It could be
anything.
the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, the back, the ankle. A lot of people suffer with Achilles tendonitis.
Yeah.
I've known a couple of people that are close to me who have had that issue.
Yep.
And it takes forever. To heal from.
It does. It does, but there are things that you can optimize that healing. As we age, we lose that collagen and that elasticity in our tissues. And so if we do a quick movement, sometimes it's not even a big one, there can be tears in that region. And that's not exclusive to the Achilles. That can happen in the shoulder. That can happen in the knee. That can even happen in ribs and things. And so if you know your do's and don'ts, meaning you had someone assess you specifically based on what your exact situation, whether it's Achilles or something else, and you've been evaluated. And we have these things called special tests in physical therapy. And we don't talk about it a lot, but the general public, I think, would be really benefited by knowing that this exists. And so what we can do is we can do these special tests with any body part from head to toe. And it will tell us what tissue is involved or is not involved. And then knowing that, then we can proceed to tell you the do's and don'ts and do those corrective movements such that you're doing the correct things to produce healing and avoiding the things that prolong healing. Some things like Achilles tendonitis or especially a tear or even a rupture do require time. Some things take more time than others. Let's be honest about that. But we can certainly circumvent that extended, long, torturous time, and also the anxiety that goes along with not knowing if I'm doing the right thing by getting some care.
A really big thing. It was for me in my situation. I was anxious that I would do a knee replacement surgery, and I would never be able to do again what it was that I loved to do.
Right.
I had that. It was an anxiety. It wasn't based on any facts, or it was just a fear that I walked around with. So I kept putting it off. I would get shots. I would do that.
Yeah.
And so there's some friends of mine who will put patches all over their body, lidocaine patches, to deal with their pain.
Sure.
And now what I'm hearing you say is, talk to us. There may be things, likely, are things that we can do that will mitigate those circumstances and help you with the pain level.
Well, I can tell you just straight up, our phone number is going to be at the footnotes of this podcast, and you can call my office. You will talk to my front desk coordinator, and she will pass your information about what your situation is because she's interested in what's going on with you. She will spend some minutes talking to you about what's going on. She will pass that information over to me. I will have a free conversation with you with no expectations whatsoever, just to create some clarity, at least the beginning, one step towards movement, towards changing it. And that's something that I have always offered, and I wish more people would take me up on.
Oh, well, we're going to start that process right now. What was that phrase that we came up with in a previous session? Openingness or something like that?
Yeah.
So we're going to open this up just a little bit and say, let's share your phone number now. For those of you who are listening, you got a pen handy, you got a paper handy, or maybe you just have a really good memory, or probably you have your cell phone in your hand like most of us do. What is the number they could call?
Yeah, it's 805-934-0663.
934-0663.
Yep. Active Healing Center in Orchid in the Santa Maria area.
And they'll get Vicki. I happen to know that's who you'll get. So
That's right.
I've actually talked to Vicki a couple of times, and she'll get you in contact with Jordan, and that's the beginning of the road. Now you can start to find out what it is that we can do together. And that's what happened for me. That first interview, I think I've shared this with you maybe on air. The first interview, I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, right.
This is really different.
Right.
I've expected to come in and be put on the machines and the manipulators and, the whole bit. But what I got was somebody to talk to me.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to ask about before we close up, Jordan, is most people are like me. We're really busy. And I have this term that I use called task saturation. we entered into this in the digital age. There's only so much information we can retain,
Yeah.
and there's more and more of it all the time. So when you're working with an individual and you've got the 3 or 4 or 5 things
Mhm.
that you want us to do, how do you help us actually remember that to do it correctly?
Yeah. So we have something that is a form that we use, and I know the term form might sound not wonderful, but what it is it's a really simple piece of paper where we create an action plan, and in it we write down, because everybody needs it written down, because we're all
Amen.
having task saturation, like you said. So we write it down. These are the 1, 2, or 3 things that are your problems. And we'll talk about the specific areas or a certain type of movement, whatever the thing is. We're going to drill down. This is your problem, 1, 2, and 3. This is what you need to do about it because we will give people sometimes many exercises, but we're going to, in this forum, narrow that down to these are your top 3 priority ones. So this is what's wrong, 1, 2, and 3. This is what you need to do, 1, 2, and 3, based on these are your goals that we heard, 1, 2, and 3. So in order to do those 3 things, these are the 3 things to focus on. And then on the back side, there's a little accountability worksheet. But don't worry, there's no guilt there. It's just a sheet of a week, and you can write down, okay, here's exercise 1, 2, 3, and then Monday through Sunday. How did I do doing those? And then if you don't do them, hey, we're going to have a discussion, and let's be honest. Let's talk about why you're not doing those. Oh, it's because you have pain with that. Oh, I didn't know that. Let's change that. Or, oh, it's because I think I had to be on the floor for that. No. You can do that on the bed. Let's air that out or create something new so that you do it in a way that
That's
works for you.
beautiful.
Yeah.
There's so many tricks that I've actually learned
Yeah.
during my process with your company. Little things
Mm-hmm.
that I've looked at the therapist and gone, "Yeah, I'm almost 72 years old. How come I never knew this?
Yeah. Why have I never heard this before?
Why
Yeah.
haven't I ever been shown how to do this?"
Yeah.
Right? So many things. I want to thank you. These sessions have been informative for me. I think for Jacob as well. And hopefully you never have to use them, Jacob. He's a really young guy, and he's looking at us like, what? But, for those of us out there who have been through physical therapy, those of us out there who know we're going to need physical therapy or active healing. I love the term. I want to thank you for all the time that you've spent with us. We're going to have you back again in the future. Talk about other aspects of healing, because
It'd be great.
so much of what we need to understand is how proper nutrition interacts with our physical being, right?
Yes.
So that we have that opportunity to improve our health just by eating properly.
And it changes as we age too, so that'll be a good topic.
Big time. When I have you back, we're going to have to talk about how to get the right amount of protein and fiber when you're in your 70s. Good
Sounds
luck
good.
explaining that to me. Jordan Larson, Active Healing Center. Again, your phone number is
805-934-0663, and our website is activeptinc.com. Active, P as in Paul, T as in Tom, INC.
That's great.
activeptinc.com.
Thank you, Jordan. Jacob, thank you for your help today. This has been the United Way podcast. We're going to wrap up this session with, again, a thank you to Jordan Larson.
My pleasure. Thanks, Eddie.
You're welcome.
It's been great.